I just took a trip out to Powerhouse Racing. Pretty long drive. Got an exhaust manifold and an ABS delete kit, which is what you've already seen me install. This is sweet. I know this looks very simple, but it does the trick and it's going to be awesome. All right, this thing's obviously not done. It's just, it's super easy to set on. Cast manifold. This sucker's good up to about 900 horsepower. T4, any T4 I want, I can slap on this thing. Pretty excited about this thing. I'm excited to see how it does, what it do, that sort of deal. Okay, well, all right, okay. Open it the wrong way. Completely upside down. Whole new, bigger throttle body. Fuel rail. And intake manifold. Dude. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I wanted to see what this was like on, and I'm excited about it, but I need to do a lot more than just like attach this, attach that. I'm gonna clean the motor up a little bit, make it actually look nice. Goal for today. I'd really like to get in here, clean some of this grime up. I need to ceramic coat this, and I just like to clean up some more of the aluminum. I need to take this back off, clean up this area, and just get it looking all nice. I'm also gonna go ahead and paint the valve covers. I'm probably gonna have Jose do this in a special color, so we'll wait on the actual like coil cover. But the valve covers, I'd love to do crinkle black because crinkle black the world. One last thing I wanna unbox is the turbo. This day and age, I think people are getting a lot more aware of good versus bad turbos to use for your car. Thankfully, the 2JZ is a 3-liter, so it helps spool up a little bit better than like the, let's say, a 1JZ. This turbo that I have right in here is going to be an amazing turbo for this motor. So this manifold right here is good up to about 800 to 900 horsepower. I'm not gonna be pushing that right now, but it's a great platform because if I ever need to swap out a T4, it's very easy to do that, super easy to reach. So this guy right here is a 6865 with a 0.68 AR. This guy's gonna spool really well, pretty quickly as well with that low AR. It's a ball bearing. Actually, let me just go ahead and get it out and show you. This was like fish. Damn. So, if you look at this guy, he is much smaller than the one that's currently on the Supra. The eBay Turbo, it's way bigger. It was originally a 96 AR over there, but I actually had a leftover CT4 housing. So this is a 68 AR. That's actually a 68 AR too, but the compressor housing is much bigger on that one. So this turbo is gonna be really awesome. This, I mean, a 68, 65, that's still a pretty reasonably sized turbo. I'm expecting this guy on low boost to probably make this guy spit out 450 to 550 horsepower. But on high boost, I'm thinking maybe even 600 to 700. So that is a anti-surge housing, which is super nice for the longevity of the turbo. The center housing, this is a ball bearing instead of the journal bearing. It's on the Supra right now. Especially given the past, it's been really important to me to make sure that I am choosing the correct, perfect turbo for all of the different applications. I obviously want the Supra to be the best street car possible. For right now, I want it to be a really fun 600 horsepower street car, and that is going to be super attainable. So I got a few things here. Engine degreaser, that'll help just get nasties off the engine. Wrinkle Plus for the valve covers. Then I have some black ceramic paint that I'm gonna go ahead and use on the exhaust manifold. It's supposed to withstand up to like 600-700 degrees, so we're gonna use this. Then I also am gonna try this. This is obviously for alloy aluminum wheels. It's just a wheel cleaner. I'm gonna go through, just spritz the motor down with this, let it soak there for a little bit, and then I'm gonna probably do some water alcohol wash, and then some degreaser, and then just keep on repeating, and we're gonna see how clean we can make the motor. Okay, you can obviously see like it's not super dirty. This is a very healthy, newer motor. It's why it was so expensive. But I'm gonna go ahead and just run some degreaser on this thing. I don't need a ton. Stuff smells, so I don't want the garage to smell like this crap. I'm also only gonna be using here up on the motor, the entire upper and lower pans coming off. I'm using the rear sump, mid sump on the other JZ. But that should clean that up. I'm gonna let that sit for a little while, then we're gonna do some Sonax and see how well we can clear all this grime off. Anything that's turning purple, that's minerals that it's actually like absorbing, eating, draining off the motor. It's really crazy how this stuff works. I'm gonna go ahead and start with a PHR manifold first. The only reason really that I'm doing this is because these cast manifolds can end up rusting over time. And not that that hurts anything, it just looks kind of ugly. So I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, because it's already actually started rusting just a tad, because water or something's touched it. It's really like, I would say this is like 20% style points, 80% just making sure this thing doesn't rust and look disgusting in my motor 3 or 4 months from now. And while I'm doing this, while this is drying, I'm gonna move to getting the valve covers off, taped off and stuff like that as well. Try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get all this knocked out ASAP. Et voila. Oh my lord, I took this off before when I was disassembling, but, oh dude, it's nasty. It's really disgusting in here. It needs to be desperately cleaned up, and I'm really glad that I'm going through and looking at this right now, because it's nasty. It is disgusting, bro. I've got everything sanded down and super cleaned up. These are the valve covers. They're pretty much ready. My goal is to make them look just as good as these, if not better. Cream coat paint is very like specific, and I found that out the hard way, but I ended up fixing it on that car. Obviously it turned out really well. So I'll go back through and give you a brief step-by-step. Do I have some? Nice. Okay, so 2 things you're gonna need for this. Heat gun, and then crinkle paint, or wrinkle paint, whatever you wanna call it. If you want it to set correctly, you have to go sideways, or in any order, sideways, vertical, and then diagonal. I like to heat between coats, but basically after you're done, you literally have to heat the whole thing up until it's all crinkled correctly. Now remember, you have 3 coats, so don't overdo it. The last thing you want is this stuff to start dripping on you. Oh, it's on my arm here. It doesn't feel very good. God, it feels so weird. After about 2 or 3 minutes, it'll start to get a matted finish, and then you just want to go at it again, but a different direction this time. So make sure all of it gets sprayed. Get all the little crevices. Pro tip, essentially, as long as the metal underneath this is hot while it's drying, it'll all dry really well and really evenly. But the point really is to make it super hot so that it can crinkle correctly. While this is drying, it doesn't actually take long. Once it's like wrinkled, it's not dry, but it's like getting pretty close. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the turbo and manifold onto the motor, and then we'll get this stuff done. Look at that, dude. it's big. It's a big turbo. The PHR manifold is just not, it doesn't shine. It's not supposed to be crazy or anything like that. It blends in really well, but I think it's gonna look really good, especially with the cast. Like the cast itself is always like wrinkly, so it's actually gonna kind of look like wrinkle black whenever I put the valve covers back on, which speaking of, let's go ahead and put those suckers on. I am digging it. Right now it looks kind of bland because this is still the same color. I am going to end up doing something with this again, like I said. But it looks good, dude. I scratched something right there, so I have a touch-up drawing, so don't worry. Man, oh man, this sucker's starting to look good. Now I still have the intake manifold to go ahead and put on. This thing looks so good. So the only thing that concerns me is I don't really know what this is. This might be an air temp, or maybe, I don't know, that's gotta be some sort of sensor because it goes straight into air. There's no coolant that goes there. So these are all little vacuum lines as well. So no coolant actually goes into here, which is super nice. Makes it really easy. It's one reason why I love JZs. They don't have coolant lines going all through this garbage. I'm gonna go ahead and I do wanna go ahead and get the fuel rail on. I'm not gonna put the injectors in just yet, but I'm gonna put the fuel rail on just to make it look good. I just searched the box and I have a block off plate for that little thing. So that's what I'll use. Twin turbo with that stock ugly intake manifold. We've kind of transformed this thing today into something that looks so cool. And I really wish that main coil cover was done. This motor's gonna look so sick when it's finished, but here it is with the new big turbo, which is gonna be so awesome. PHR manifold, new painted valve covers with that crinkle paint. That crinkle paint, that special sauce. Cleaned up the head a little bit, which I'm really excited about. It ended up looking really good. And then obviously we've got a fuel rail, intake manifold, bigger throttle body. I'm particularly stoked about this because that's very helpful and awesome for Supras. And not to mention, I'm going to actually be doing 3-inch piping all the way, and I don't want to have to go down in size into a 2.5 inch, which is the stock size. There's the stock size, which is like 2.5 inches, and then here's like the 3-inch. And look, that's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be super awesome. Just in case you forgot how beautiful the GTE is, here is a nice picture of a GE. Oh, what a beaut. And here is, oh my God, dude, this is gonna look so good. This, in this car, is gonna be unreal. The only things I have left for this is I've gotta change the main tensioner, and then I have to obviously adapt AC and power steering from this car and keep that in the car, and then put that stuff on this. Obviously I have to run oil lines and stuff. The main thing that's gonna change on the bottom half of the motor is the motor mounts are gonna actually change. The Aristo and the Super mounts are actually different. So aside from that, some plumbing stuff. Thankfully, I've already done a JZ before, so I know exactly how to do it. That'll take me about 10 minutes. The hooks that allow you to hoist the motor up, I actually have I've actually been painting those too. Crinkle black. They're probably gonna get scratched up and ugly, but I don't know. Wanted to flex that a little bit. This sucker looks really good, and I am so psyched on how it turned out. I was thinking about a carbon midnight purple on the top, but because that turbo pops so much, I might end up doing like a white or just something. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. Something really cool. I want to do something really cool for the center coil cover piece. I'm gonna set you guys on my 2J while I do your daily advice for today. My daily advice for you guys is really simple today. 20 years from now, most likely scenario, the thing you're going to be thinking about is not what you did do, but rather what you didn't. What I'm not saying is go live an absolutely irresponsible life, but really, in terms of your business ventures and your life and, you know, having a family, having kids, taking those risks, believing in yourself to start that company or to go to school, you're gonna remember the things you didn't do 20 years from now rather than the things you did. So make sure that whatever you're doing right now keeps the future in mind. Not just right now, what's comfortable, what you'd like to do, because that is how you live a bad life. I love you guys so much. Catch you later. Deuce. Hey, I got 2 videos. Yeah, I got 2 videos for you, and you should watch them. I don't really have anything else to say, but just watch those videos, I guess.